Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. Today we're going to be looking at a piece by the artist Ryan Hawthorne. He is a 3D artist working with digital renderings, and he does a lot of scenes, whether it's sci-fi, whether it's glitch art, and everything in between. So on this piece, we're going to talk about, say, intensity of light. We're going to talk a little bit about this color palette. We're going to talk about near symmetry or symmetry and the harmonious forms which result from that. Then we're also going to talk about some of the modern developments or contemporary developments within the movement of glitch art. So let's jump right into it. So in your initial introduction, you're likely met with just this incredible intensity of light. So you're first met with, say, this blue, violet, and even hints of green in the spatial composition. And this color palette really uses those degrees of light to emphasize itself to the highest degree possible. Whenever you first see this piece, you're likely caught by the amount of visual energy, as there's just this kind of streaking motion that radiates off of the piece downward. And so that creates a unique sense of motion. Say, whenever we think of motion in art, we normally think of curves. We normally think of, say, kind of the royal of smoke or something like that. But you'll see that the main form of this entire piece is a disc, so it is circular, and that doesn't necessarily inherit motion, but we do feel this sense of motion from these streaks of light that are radiating off that piece. So I think that's really interesting. I think that invigorates a high degree of energy within the piece and really results that visual experience for anyone who sees this. So in the realm of form, like I said, we have this disc, and this is really what takes up such a large degree of the spatial composition. It just fills from edge to edge, and it's just quite large as well. And you see 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yep. There's about 4 lines going through this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And you have, say, about 8 lines which result from that. And those all result from this circular form. Of course, the circle converges in the middle. So the form is really important to the layout of this piece. And what you'll notice is it is a disc, but it's actually kind of like a multi-layered disc. You'll see there's an implied sense of depth in here, how we have, say, the bottom curve there and the top curve there. And there are multiple layers of that, say the top curve here, and kind of the bottom defining form of that is that curves. So I think that's interesting to note. There's like these multitude of layers, which I think actually work to reinforce that aforementioned sense of energy and light within the piece as well. Because you have, if you had just one layer of this disc, it's already quite energetic with the amount of light in the spatial composition. But whenever you take that and you put it on, say, multiple layers, I think that really goes deep, and I think that's important to note as well. Those really impact the resulting visual experience that you get whenever you see this piece. And so, like I said, the form is that kind of disc, that large circle, but also that multi-layered disc as well. Those are all important to note. In the realm of texture, we see kind of this. Of course, it uses glitch art. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in a second. But you see what feels like glass or crystals or crystalline. And that of course, echoes the aforementioned sense of energy and the sense of light. Because crystals, of course, are hosts of light. So whenever light shines through them, they are possessed by light, and they shine in every direction. That's why I think we're quite mesmerized by gemstones or diamonds or anything like that. Say, if you hold it up to the light as if you were, say, with this piece, the light shines through it and it just refracts and just creates these stunning color palette, say, like what you see here. And there's a quite heavy degree of visual energy within that. And within that crystalline form, there's this sense of divinity, because it is the host of the light, and the light is, of course, from a higher order. So that's what I feel from this piece, is the light kind of hits it, and it's just possessed by that energy of the light. And the crystalline form or the crystalline texture is really what helps to reinforce that as well. You see kind of like a translucent, like we said before, there's a lot of layers to this piece. So this translucent texture and form really works with those layers to, I guess you can see them much more clearly because it's translucent, right? And because you see that crystalline form, I think it reinforces itself, because you have one layer here, but that layer is compounded right under it, and then it's compounded once more, and then it's compounded once more. So there's this almost not an endless multitude, but a very, very defined and very detailed layering within this piece. And I don't think that can be understated at all. It's really important, and that crystalline or that crystal or glass like texture is really what plays into this. And on that note, we see, of course, the modern or the contemporary developments of glitch art. And I think that's incredibly important. Glitch art originated as us seeing, say, a screen breaking or malfunctions in software. And we had a desire, of course, whenever you have something, say, like I'm in VR right now. So if that wall over there were to have a glitch in it and there's a mixing pixel, I would kind of be like worried, right? Because that is a hardware malfunction. But what the glitch artist decided is they could take that malfunction and they could turn it into something that's actually controllable or manageable. So there's something really inspiring about that, because you take what is, say, what makes you uncomfortable, such as a glitch in a screen, and then you turn that into something that can be mastered and capable of control. So that is really kind of like an order birthing from chaos. And I really see that in this piece as well. I think glitch art is, of course, there's an incredible amount of developments in glitch art already, but I think it's, in many ways, it's just getting started, because in the turn of the decade now, we are seeing just how important our day-to-day lives are in the digital world. And with that, I think glitch art is that incredible parallel movement to really draw the attention of what we can do with, say, art in a screen-based medium, but also do it on a way, like I said before, it originated from glitches and malfunctions and what would normally be kind of uncomfortable. So whenever we take that and we mastered it, it shows that we are really trying to understand this new world that we're coming into, which is, of course, the digital world, like the room that I'm standing in right now, right? It's absolutely incredible. I think that's really important to note. Like I said, I think glitch art is just getting started. And we see in here, this piece displays the glitch art in many different ways. So I had a little bit of a description. I'm going to bring that here in a second. But the glitch art is really important because, like we said before, that crystalline form, let me erase that. That crystalline form there also really works with the glitch art as well, because this kind of translucent nature, it almost feels like the screen is cracked. And with that, of course, that is kind of like a glitch aesthetic. And what Ryan Hawthorne does, which is quite remarkable, is he takes that sense of, say, broken glass, and he puts it into a defined form and just creates these stunning experiences of light and crystals and just, I think this could be a really important piece in the glitch art movement, just in clear aesthetic. It is the 404 collection, which this comes from, is, I think it's quite incredible. I think it's underrated in my opinion as well. So just some incredible works coming from this artist. So I brought a little bit of the description here, and you'll see that the 404 collection originated in October of 2020. So this has been in development for quite some time. Here we are in 2022. At some point, it'll be 2 years since this was originally created. So you'll see that artists are always working behind the scenes to really put that together and try and create, the most well-rounded project as they can. And I think Ryan Hawthorne does a really good job at that. After all, he's been working on this project for quite some time. So I think that's important to note. And so, quote, "Inspired by a wide variety of glitch art, I set out to create my own unique take on the genre. My goal was to build a glitch effect that was made 100% in 3D, rendered fully in camera. To do this, I utilized microgrid patterns to drive light emission and a subtle amount of displacement within Octane. Octane is the rendering system. These shaders were then mapped onto basic geo and offset by layers of refractive glass. The result is textural alchemy." So quite incredible. You'll see layers of refractive glass. Let me note a little bit here that I think are some of the most important points here. Layers of refractive glass. There we are. Microgrid patterns, drive light emission, subtle amount of displacement. Yeah. So light emission, refractive glass, like we said, This is really what defines this piece is that refractive glass, or that, of course, the emission of light, which creates that incredible amount of visual energy within this piece. So I think that's really important to note. He clearly states that he wants to take his own unique take on the genre, and I think he does that quite masterfully. Just an incredible piece coming from this artist, and we really, really love this one. I talked a little bit before about how we're really kind of coming to age on this new era of realizing how important the internet is, how important screen-based devices are, and it's almost like we're living in the Matrix now. And it's quite remarkable to say, but the art always follows the trend, and we're trying to stay as close as that to possible. And so with this, I feel like we are entering a new age, whether it's a new age of art, whether it's a new age of technology, whether it's a new age of, say, the glitch art movement. There's so many different subsections that are just always moving day to day. And I think that it's actually a combination of all of them. And that's what the new age can be defined as. You can verify digital objects with NFTs. Artists can now make a living. They can distribute their art and create a following on social media. And, they don't have to rely on anyone. And one of his pieces we showcased was Cross-Chain, and we talked a little bit about that as well. And so we're going to take a look at some of his pieces from the past, and we're going to kind of go through the history of Ryan Hawthorne's showcases within the Apollo Art Archive and just see what we've been able to do so far. Alrighty, so here we are. This is every showcase for Ryan Hawthorne that has ever been in the Apollo Art Archive. So each one of these pieces has a full written description with it. And so now this marks his 6th showcase within the archive. I think that's the right order. There we go. I wanted to put it in chronological order by time. So you'll see we have the first piece that we ever got for Ryan Hawthorne, which is Waveform. And this collection really made waves. You've probably seen some of the pieces from it. Maybe we'll showcase some of them more one day, but there's just some incredible works coming from this artist. Whenever I first saw this, you see the heavy sci-fi themes. He uses glitch art in a unique way. It's not necessarily glitches. It's kind of like a topographical map. And yeah, it's really interesting. But this piece was the first showcase ever. I believe it was in July. It was definitely his first showcase, and I believe it was in July. And the second one we did was in September. This piece is Waveforms. The second piece we did was On Spec, and this was from his really interesting collection where he took kind of classical sculptures, put them into low poly renderings, and then reinvigorated them into these new spaces. So you'll see 2 from that collection here chosen, and we have On Spec, and then we have Plexus. And so both of those pieces were really, really stunning. And that, of course, doesn't want to lock on. There we go. So you'll see, first, second, third showcase. His 4th showcase was quite recently. This was Components. And I really, really love this piece. This is what really got me back into Hawthorne's art. And that's when I discovered these 2 pieces as well. And so finally, his 5th showcase ever was Cross-Chain, and that, of course, comes from the 404 collection that we are showcasing today. And this piece, we talked a bunch, but mainly is that kind of crystal form and also the contemporary developments of glitch art. So that was his 5th showcase, and then today, finally, we have his 6th showcase in the Apollo Art Archive, and just some stunning, stunning works coming from this artist. You see the color, you see the glitch art, you see influences of, say, science fiction and everything in between. It's quite clear that Ryan Hawthorne really respects the digital medium, and he has owed a great deal of respect as a digital artist as a result of his dedication. And so I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something about Ryan Hawthorne's art. I really like this piece. I wanted to showcase it to everyone. There's something almost divine about it with that light and that energy and that kind of crystalline texture and that crystalline form. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. Go check out some of Ryan Hawthorne's other pieces. Go check out his 404 collection that's currently released. So I hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.